Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I'm Gabriella, and this is GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. You guys, I'm bringing to you such an amazing fellow. I got the opportunity to work with and learn and experience some amazing growth and transformation. So I am so excited to share with you one of the coaches that has helped me, Dr. Philip Agrios. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much, Gab. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to share you with our audience. You did so much amazing stuff when we worked together that really helped me shift. And so I know the audience is going to get tons and tons of value from our conversation today. Let's jump right in and talk about your expertise.
My expertise is basically helping people to transcend business owners, executives, and entrepreneurs, mainly to transcend their personal and business. And we do that by helping them to uncovering a inborn sabotaging trait that they're born with. And once they discover that, we help them to give them the antidote to switch it off instantly so they can move from self-sabotage to self-made success.
Absolutely. And that was the thing that I was learning from you. And it was incredible. Do you want to talk about for just a moment the three saboteurs?
Sure. So we basically found that there are actually three basic traits that we're born with. And then depending on how they are sequenced in what we call the personality stress sequence. Once you understand that sequence, that's how you came into the world with this behavioral sequence. And because of that, there's only six sequences of human behavior. So there's really only six people in the world. And once you understand your sequence, and especially myself, I can tell you everything about you and never meet you. And then therefore, you can really understand there's really only one thing for you to focus on. So that from there, that one saboteur creates every negative emotion for you. And when you understand by you pushing like a domino, that saboteur, it goes down the road of frustration. But when you push the antidote, which that's the solution we call it, this is your saboteur, and the exact opposite is the antidote. So when you use your antidote, it's actually impossible to sabotage yourself. And the way we look at sabotage is not in how you undermine you. The inborn sabotage trait is there to protect you from the very success that you seek, because that success is subconsciously sabotaging yourself.
Absolutely. And I remember you teaching us, in addition to we have our self saboteur, we also have our personality trait that is our strength. Now, I want to ask you about your background and history that got you here, because you have such an interesting background and history, and you had that click moment where you figured out your strength and your own saboteur.
Yeah, basically, I used to be a chiropractor and a functional medicine practitioner. My specialty was thyroid and autoimmune disease. And about 30 years ago, I was trying to figure out why certain things weren't doing well in my own business, my own personal life, why my children were the way they are, why my patients weren't really doing what I was asking them to do. And I found myself on this journey, not really looking for it, but finding that, there's this particular part of us that we're born with to protect us, not to cause us pain, because there's nothing wrong with you. There's only two things we do: we protect, we grow, we expand, we contract, we give and take. We're vibrational beings. And when I realized that we're just protecting ourselves, there's nothing wrong with me or you, or your audience, we're just in protection. And once you realize that you're in a contractive mode, so let's say you're starting to release your personal professional power, you start to feel uncomfortable, your saboteur kicks in to protect you, right? But imagine knowing why you're in that contracted state. Instead of going all the way into contraction, understanding you will contract a little bit, but then by using the antidote, which is the exact opposite, you begin to grow. And then you start feeling uncomfortable, you contract. And then you start doing this in order to expand, inconsistently going into a contractive state, causing frustration instead of inspiration.
Absolutely. So, expanding and contracting and getting into that new norm is a great way for us to show up and learn to grow from. And I know that your background and history, like as a chiropractor, as a functional medicine, and your own self-protection got you to a place where you discovered all of this. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Sure. I mean, I went through a lot of stuff, which I'm okay with. I was the king of self-sabotage, and it created so many things from financial ruin a few times. I had a horrific divorce. I went through the death of my parents within a few years. My father had brain cancer. I was going through. I was on disability. I couldn't practice. I lost my practice after 15 years, and going through that whole process and then be able to practice again. And then there's so many things. I can continue to move on with that, but there was a lot of stuff, but it caused me to really look that, you know what, this is giving me the opportunity to go deeper and deeper into something I was given. And then from there was in order for it to evolve in what I have now. So basically, I have no regret. I tell people I don't have any regret. Once in a while, it comes back, but I say, look, once you are able to understand what you went through, you can find a benefit out of it. What happens? You can move
Absolutely.
forward and let that go.
And the reality is, pretty much everyone out there hits walls and goes through really crappy stuff. And when we can see someone like yourself who has reached a level of success and expertise and has gone through the garbage and had to go face all of this stuff, we get to go, oh, it doesn't have to derail us. It doesn't have to stop us dead in our tracks. We can emerge out of it. And that's what's so incredible when people hear your backstory and what you trudged through and how you've emerged out of it. I mean, again, I was very fortunate that I got to go through your program and learn. And you're right. Like, I spent years and years in a very negative space. And as I was evolving and coming out of that and learning how to um, reposition my mind, I got very far, but I still had these stumbling blocks. I took your course, and now when I hit those walls and I put into place what you taught me, it works. It really does. So I can attest for sure.
Oh, that's good. Well, okay. I mean, you did fantastic. I mean, you
Oh,
really shifted so quickly and naturally, and it was so good to see the evolution that you created in just in 5 weeks.
thank you so much. So let's talk about influence and inspiration, because our audience are business owners, they're salespeople, they're people changing their course on their journey. And all of us need to know where we can draw inspiration and influence from to take us down our path towards expertise and success. Talk about yours.
One of the things that I kind of drive into my clients is about gratitude. You know, people have asked me if you can give me just one thing that can shift my life, what it would be, and it would be gratitude. But not in just to say, "Hey, I'm thank you for that," and move forward. It's actually being grateful for the adversity, even the horrific ones. And once you are grateful, which means to me is that once you find the benefit out of it, then there's no need for you to punish yourself over and over again from that particular decision you made that caused you to be in the situation. I always believe you are where you are because that's where you need to be. So I had previously a client just beating himself up, and I said, look, if you didn't have that experience, we wouldn't be talking together. You wouldn't be now creating a coaching program to help so many people. So let's focus on what you did right as in shifting that, because there's a lot of people that are still beating themselves up from the past or focusing on the future too far ahead. By
Right.
being present and understanding that, he's now able to shift it, like thousands of other clients of mine. But by them understanding how they can take that gratitude, therefore they don't need to forgive themselves, because once you are able to find a benefit, there's no need to forgive.
That's really interesting because we all keep getting taught this idea that we need to forgive, and you're shifting that conversation and saying, no, you don't need to do this instead. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. I love it. So 30 years ago, when you were getting started in your path and your journey, you had an influence that really spoke to you to take you down your path? Will you share that with us?
Back in the 80s, that's when I really started. Yeah, that's how far back I'm going with the cassette programs. Remember cassettes?
I do.
And yeah, so there was a thing called Nightingale and Conant. I think they're still around. And Earl Nightingale was the Nightingale part of the Conant. And they had all these different tapes. And I started really listening to Earl Nightingale in the beginning. And he really helped me shift some of my thought processes. And then from there, I was listening to a guy named Mike Wickett, and then Tony Robbins came along, and other people, Zig Ziglar, and you know the gamut. But
Do.
one of the quotes from Earl Nightingale is that there's no such thing as luck. Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, and opportunity is always there. So when you're prepared, when that preparedness and opportunity meet, that's your luck. So when I realized that, I was like, there is no such thing as luck. I have full control over this. And from there, because I have whether or not to decide whether or not what's coming my way is going to affect me, or am I going to use it as a benefit and move myself forward?
Hello, hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and say thank you to our sponsors. It is through the generous support of these sponsors that we are able to bring to you these amazing experts that are sharing their best tips for your success. So please listen to what our sponsors have to say, and hopefully they're going to inspire you that you're going to click their links and go support them.
This is Tony Stark Polici, copywriter, marketing consultant, and author. And I have a question for you. If you could take $20 and turn it into 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, would you do it? Well, you can. And it's not through gambling. It's not investing in the stock market. It's by buying this book. That's right, my book. This was voted number 9 out of the top 100 best copywriting books ever written, and I wrote it for you, for business owners, to help you write better emails, better sales copy, better advertisement, to communicate better in all of your marketing and business communications. This book will change your business and your life. Try it. You're going to love it.
Global Prosperity Academy, GPA, is a community of like-minded individuals that are heart-centered and mission-driven, focusing on high-level communication training, leadership development, and strategic community building. Take a look at the video in the link below and see how GPA is right for you. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about one tip for your younger self or our younger audience or people that are shifting in their careers. What would you say?
I would say get a mentor. I didn't have a mentor until I started practicing chiropractic. I had hired a management group 6 months before I practiced. So when I actually practiced, I hit the ground running and I was successful the first month. So I would think that if anything, find a mentor, someone that is in the field that you're looking for, or if you just want to be a different type of person, ask the universe, guide me to finding somebody that will help me move me forward to where I want to go. And then it's just not one mentor, but to always have mentors along the path. And some mentors are just there for a brief time, and some mentors there for a lifetime. So just be open to it.
I love it. I have a mentor right now who's been amazing. And you're right, I've had different mentors over the years. And there are people who are mentors of mine that don't even know that they're mentors, but I absorb so much great information from them.
And you have to realize too, your challenges are your mentors. So the adversity that comes your way is one of the biggest and best mentor that you can have. Just listen. I tell coaches all the time, as you're talking to people, I don't know how many times I would be talking to a patient or a client, and I go, wait a minute, and I would write something down, and I go, what'd you do? I said, that was for me. So when you're talking and giving advice or giving suggestions to people, listen to yourself and see if you need it just as much as they do or more.
That's brilliant. Let's jump right into all of your best actionable tips that people can do right now.
Look at adversity and ask yourself the question, why am I in protection right now? Why am I stressed? So if you feel resistive, you feel stressed, you feel anything other than in the flow, then you're in protection. Ask yourself, what happened? Is it something that just happened over the last 2 hours, last 2 days, or it's just in my head. And the last tip is that everything outside of you is you. So the person you can't stand is a part of you you can't stand. They're just showing up to show you what you're not dealing with. And the reason why you're angry at them is like, how dare you come in and show me a part of me that I don't want to deal with? So I would think those would be some of the quick tips that I can share with them.
Yeah, I love it. I have said many times that when I come across a situation and I feel rubbed wrong in the situation, I go, "Ooh, what part of that
Mhm.
bothers me am I doing that bothers other people?" And it's one of the best ways to learn how to shift how you show up. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's great advice. On each episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts, we like to highlight a hero sponsor who is a business that chooses to highlight a do good organization in their own community that is bettering the world. Today's hero sponsor is.
Hello, world. This is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer and I am also a consultant from Z World Webs. Today, I want to highlight the Spiro Foundation because this nonprofit organization is truly dedicated to arresting the spread of human trafficking. This includes prevention, education, recovery, and of course, technology. If you would like to learn more about the Spiro Foundation, please visit their website at www.spiro-foundation.org. And again, their website is www.spero-foundation.org, to which Spiro is Latin for I hope. Or you may scan their QR code. The link can be found in the show notes. So with that being said, my name is Z from Z World Webs, and let's develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
Dr. Phil, I know from my own experience that everybody should be having a conversation with you and learning how to identify their saboteurs, identify their strengths, and really be able to grow from taking your course. How can people find out more information about how you show up in the world?
Well, I'm on social media. They can contact me through LinkedIn, to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube. So those
Awesome.
are the platforms that we can connect with people, and don't be shy.
We will get the links for those in the show notes and in the description so you guys can take a look, click on it, learn more about Dr. Phil and what he's doing and how he shows up. I know you have a community out there as well, and you have this amazing offer. I got the opportunity to take advantage of your offer, and I think everybody else really would benefit. Will you share with them what that is?
Sure. Throughout the research, we were able to come up with just 9 questions to ask you in order for you to receive your inborn sabotaging trait and your antidote for free. So you would just go to sabquiz.com. So SAB is short for sabotage. So SAB is in boy, quiz, sabquiz.com. Read the instructions carefully. You want to take the quiz as when you were younger, before you've had coaching and therapy and all that. Because what we discovered is when people answer it as of today, it can skew the results because of what they're going through. They can be going in such a way that they're actually doing the exact opposite of what they usually do into a sabotage. They can go from, let's say, they're not very talkative, and then now they're expressing and they're all over the place and they're focusing on that. And that it'll skew the
Inaccurate.
results. Yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure that they take it as how they were when they were a child or a teenager.
Absolutely. So I am so happy that I got to talk to you and get to share you with our audience. We will make sure to get the link to the quiz in the notes and in the description. I took it and I found it extremely insightful. And I know that the audience will as well. So don't forget to go get yourself that quiz. You will not regret it. Make sure you click the subscribe button and don't forget to set your reminders for our next episode airing.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.